All right. Welcome to the stratosphere, my friends. I cannot even begin to explain to you what today has been like for me. I had all sorts of plans. Let me just say, we are in for a wild ride this afternoon. Everything I wanted to do, we're probably not going to do. But some of the things I wanted to do, maybe we'll try to see. I have no idea. I have no idea. Looks like I've got some interesting issues with my chat, but Mariana seems to be here. Aloha. I am so happy to see you joining me here on Chatter with Statter. Now that it's both of us, we can welcome Cynthia Kraus. Good to see you, Cynthia. Looks like eMusic is showing face. Fantastic. Before I get into the wild details of this afternoon, I am going to start some music that I forgot to start up because of things. And so once again, we will be listening to the tuneful sounds of Lono. LonoMusic.com is where you can buy all of Lono's albums, from his old style Hawaiian stuff to his Hawaiian style fun stuff. LonoMusic.com, or if you're not in the mood to purchase any CDs, you can always check out Lono's channel on YouTube. Kalpe'epe'e is his username, but if you also Google, or not Google, just do in the YouTube search Lono Music, it should take you right to his page. Kalpe'epe'e is Kaupepe, Kaupepe, but I'd be willing to bet that most folks won't remember how to spell that, which is why it's just easier to do a search for Lono Music in the search box. Chocolate, all right, yeah. So how are you, Andre? Good to see you. Hey, Deb, all right. E.T. Guerrero also here. All right, so before we carry on with our usuals, we're going to do something even more usual, which is I'm checking with you guys. Is the music too loud? Is the music not loud enough? Because, and here's where the day began. Because, you see, I am going flying blind again, or I'm flying deaf again. I have no earphones, even though I have the most wonderful sounding earphones that came in the mail yesterday. They're these things called, okay, all right, cool. You sent me a drop. Oh, fantastic, Shock. Maybe I'll be able to figure out how to actually show it. I'm on the verge of that. In fact, if we're feeling rambunctious and you guys are feeling patient, I might show you some pictures. But I know that by like the way that I'm doing it cannot be the way that it's done. Like, it's so clunky. But I kind of figured out how to show stuff, maybe. All right, so music level looks good, it says eMusic. Fantastic. Okay, so the drop is from the Chickahominy River Bridge. All right then. I don't have many Native American words that sound like that. The ones out here are more like Skookumchuck, Squim, Puyallup, the Stillaguamish, and things like that. But it seems like every Native tribe in the area, or in the different areas, have their own set of tongue twisters to us Howley types. Really, I guess that's the case for any language. It has nothing to do with being Native American. But anyway, back to the sans earplugs situation. All right, so I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of this brand called Boss Buds? They're not Bose. It's B-O-S-S buds. You know, like earbuds. They come in a case like this, and they're, oh my god, they're very, very inexpensive, and their sound is amazing. Like, I thought that the Skull Candy sounded just fine. Oh my god, the Skull Candy sort of sounds like crap. No, really, really great sound. And yeah, really great sound. I was looking forward, because I had done some research. Okay, so let's go back to one original problem that I was having with my tech, because after all, it's like one step forward, 84 steps back with me. So back in the day, I didn't have any earphones that could hook up with my computer, even though my computer says that it's Bluetooth capable. The brand of earphones that I bought that were wireless are not compatible with the Windows 10. And I did a bunch of research on how to fix the problem, and ultimately every user out there who has the same set of earbuds that I had says, yeah, they just don't work with Windows 10. They just don't. So I stopped trying to make them work because it was like, well, they're not going to work. But I didn't really do any other research because I kind of assumed that like, oh, well, they're the only ones that don't work. Well, as it turns out, I think I've got a problem in my computer with the Bluetooth situation because I got the Boss Buds, paired them up with the computer, but they will only connect for like a minute. And then even when they are connected, no sound comes through them. And I have gone through every level of sound control, from the Bluetooth devices to the hardware section to the everything. Like, I mean, I've even found where the adjustment for the earphones is and where I should, in theory, be able to adjust the volume manually. Well, the volume is all the way to the top, all the way to the top. It's not on mute, it's nothing, and still no sound is coming through. So after about 2 hours of wrestling with this today, I gave up and I ended up buying some Sennheiser corded things, and they'll be coming in the mail in a couple days. So I will eventually have some actual corded, because I just don't, this Bluetooth bull is driving me nuts. Since when should it take like 5 hours worth of research just to get a pair of wireless speakers to work with my computer? 2 different kinds, none of them work. I've uninstalled drivers, I've reinstalled drivers, I've factory resetted, I've factory this, that, and the other thing. I can't understand what the flip and flurp point of Bluetooth is if it doesn't connect. I just don't get it. Okay, so Chuck, you've never had any luck connecting anything to Windows PC over Bluetooth? All right, well then maybe I'm just gonna totally give up on it then, because I have been a huge fan of cords for a really long time. I still use, do you see this? My mouse still has a cord. I'm very much all a fan of cords, but earphones, super hard to get corded these days. And so I was like, all right, well, it seems harmless enough. I mean, it's an earphone. How hard can it be to make that work? Famous last words. Anyway, yeah. So, Madstatter, are there any other Bluetooth devices paired with my PC? Well, the Bluetooth, that's a good question, and I could have decided to explore that route further, but I just gave up and I said I don't care. The thing is the problem is the phone, or excuse me, the computer recognizes, it says it's connected. It recognizes my cell phone when my cell phone's around. It wants to connect to my cell phone, and I would have experimented more with my cell phone had I just not lost all flippin' patience. And at that point, I had housework to do. I had a whole bunch of things that I was going to do today. It was a wonderful day full of getting housework done, so I thought, and researching stuff for Twitch and how to do some of the tech. So I start my day off on a wonderful foot with just the simplest thing, I thought. And then I gave up on that. So then I ended up taking my medicine, because I have to take medicine every morning. And that medicine gave me the worst heartburn in the world. The kind of heartburn that like makes your ears hurt. It makes you want to throw up and like drool. So instead of doing all of my homework for bringing in other video sources, like I'm on the verge of figuring out how to show a website on the stream. And I won't get into those details. On the verge. Anyway, so it looks like, all right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to quit your bitching. Quit my bitching right now. All right, so Shock, all right, medium 7-Up. I'm so glad that you're a breath of fresh air that just came in, because I was a foul wind a-blowing just a minute ago talking about my tech woes. Yeah, Andre, you've got a good question for Miles. What is it that you're eating, Miles? Yeah, so right now it looks like medium 7-Up. We're living vicariously through him, and he's heading to Turtle Bay. So yeah, I've never heard medium 7-Up. I'd never heard of Sennheiser before until that guy from South Africa, Quit 67, was asking Andy what Andy used, and it sounds like Quit 67 also uses that brand, and Andy uses that brand, and so I just figured, well, I was just like, haha, I'm not going to be able to afford those because they're not, real. And it's true, they've got some that are like, here's a $3,000 pair of headphones. Yeah, I got the $30 pair. Just little earbuds. All I need is a little cord. But I figured, whatever, $30, I can deal with it. So we're good. Yeah, Andre, the Mac and the Bluetooth, obviously, Mac and Bluetooth seems to love each other. PCs and Bluetooth obviously have a problem. And instead of fighting with it, I just decided to embrace what I already love. Cords. I want a wire to plug in anyway. So instead of arguing with Bluetooth for no apparent reason, and all I can, the thing is because they kept cutting out, like they would connect for a minute and then they would stop, or they would be connected and then they wouldn't work. Whatever it is, all I could think of was, sure, in the middle of the stream, these are going to go out and I'm going to have to deal with this. No. So yeah, I'm just getting a hardwired set mailed to me. So I guess computers who make phones work better with Bluetooth. Example, Google phone and Chrome, or iPhones and iMacs. Yeah, maybe. I think I'm a Dell with a Android, so they're foreign species apparently. Yeah, so, Mark Hill, good to see you. And, let's see. Yeah, okay, so Shock, you like cords too, but the wireless mouse you became a convert. I can appreciate that, and I have considered going wireless mouse, but I just don't need one more, a battery going out and suddenly my mouse doesn't work, and I don't know. I'm really over wireless stuff at this point. Yeah, so between the annoyance of this thingamabop, wireless earbuds, and actually it's not the earbuds' fault. These earbuds are great earbuds. It's a computer issue. I'm maligning these wonderful earbuds. Like I said, they're really very reasonably priced, and they've got really good sound, but they don't work with my computer. And that's my computer being difficult to work with. That it's not the problem with a headphone. Yeah. So, hey, Gil, good to see you. Kenny, good to see you showing up. You're in the grocery store. That's so funny. All right, cool. Yeah. And so anyway, super sick. Had to go lay down for a little while because my medicines made my heart explode. Well, not really. It felt like it. I had heartburn. It didn't make my heart explode. Yeah, so then I got out of bed, had to eat something, and now I was in a rush. And here we are. So medium 7-Up off the bus. Fantastic. What medium 7-Up, are you going to go swimming in Turtle Bay or just like take pictures, or what's going on there? You're in the pharmacy drive-thru. You always seem to be in the car when Chatter Statter starts. Oh, Mariana, that's funny. Though, sometimes those drive-thrus, like at the bank, especially when, like back in when COVID was locked everything down, and you couldn't go into the bank, so everybody had to go through the drive-thru. Oh my gosh, it was such a long drive-thru wait. And I used to just regularly go to YouTube and like watch a Jim Gaffigan comedy stand-up routine for 11 minutes or whatever, just to pass the time, because otherwise I would drive myself nuts. So super stoked that I'm able to like maybe help you pass your time in the pharmacy or in the line for the pharmacy. But Mariana, once you get your medicines and stuff, like don't watch my show. You need to go drive to wherever. Then you can watch my show. But you know. Yeah, people look at you and think, why you smile and laugh to yourself. That's so funny, because I have considered watching YouTube shows while I'm like out walking the neighborhood or whatever. But I just never want to, because you people who talk on their phone with their earphones, so you can't really tell that they're talking on their phone. At least I assume that that's what these people are doing. They look like they're nuts, and I already do enough to make myself look like I'm nuts. I don't need any help with that. You're just walking, ha ha ha, and nobody, with my hair, nobody can see that I got earphones in. So after falling asleep, Cynthia, waiting Sunday, you set your alarm just to be sure. Well, Cynthia, you're like emptying out your house. So I would say that if you deserve a nap, and if your body is falling asleep saying you need a nap, you deserve a nap. So yeah, for sure. Don't sleep deprive yourself just for me or just for us. Well, okay, for us, sleep deprive yourself, because actually it is fun to hang out. Speaking of which, awesome, now that we've got some folks here, welcome to Chatter with Statter. As you probably know, I stream a little chat show every Thursday and Sunday, and if you like what you see, feel free to hit that like button, and if you don't like what you see, feel free to hit that not like button. What I would really love for you to do is subscribe so I can hit the magical 100 number so I can update my URL and customize it. Speaking of magic numbers, the other day, Andy mentioned that I needed to turn on the super chats and things so people could donate money or whatever. Well, as it turns out, I cannot turn on the super chats because I need 1,000 followers for that. So I guess 1,000 followers is really my bigger goal, so I can't turn on super chats. But if you guys are weird and you want to actually donate money to me, I did add a PayPal link for donations. It should be in my banner, and then also it's like in the about section of my page, I guess, maybe. And so I probably won't mention that a lot, but I will mention it just because it's brand new, and I kind of like to brag about the things that I learned to do, and learning how to add that button was a really great success after struggling with earphone situations. Another success that I had was figuring out how to stream once again in the 1080, and so I'm not sure if it's going out as 1080 and you can get it as 1080, but in theory, you should be able to. So if you can, I would like to have confirmation of that, because I was kind of proud of myself figuring that one out too. But now that I think about it, I really won't know if I figured it out until I hear that from you guys. Oh, Cynthia Krause, don't forget you're old too. Well, I guess, okay, that's true. And then that's just another reason to go with the flow when the naps come knocking. You're watching but the signal keeps breaking up. Well, laugh when you can, darling. Mark, we'll be laughing with you. Yes, Kenny, exactly. Aloha Lurkers and K Crew. Yeah, someone's got to take up that banner now that I'm actually... And now that we've got a new ship that we're steering here. Okay, so Medium 7 Up says, I'm at a sign listing all the things filmed here at Kavela Bay. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Pirates of the Caribbean, Hunger Games, Jumanji 2, Lost, 5-0, etc. Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't think I've seen... I've seen one of the Pirates... And I think that's all I've seen of all those. So Mad Statter streams a little chatty show. Guess the tune for extra credit. Oh, Mad Statter. I don't know. I'm not hearing it in my head, and I'm not gonna sing, even though I almost just did. So. Shock, good. 1080 is available. Yes, okay. Tiny victory. We are very excited. So that was a smooth bump that we get to ride over. Oh, yeah, that was a smooth bump. The other things that we'll get to struggle with, we're not going to be riding a smooth road from here on out. We are definitely going to be feeling the bumps and the quirks, because I am learning how to steer this machine, and we're all going to pay for it. Okay, so on your phone, though, Cynthia, you said you only saw the 1080, but Gil says that his 1080 is coming through, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to guess Cindy Krause, that it's your phone's issue for the 480. Yeah, Andre, I never saw Hunger Games, but I always thought of it as more of a colder climate. So Hawaii, the clips that I saw, I wouldn't, yeah. Oh, her mother keeps the kids, the Norse song. Her mother keeps a little candy store. Oh, okay, wait, now that I know the tune, let me go back to that. Okay, yeah, I think I can. I'm not going to sing it, but I think I can hear it. But no, I am not going to. I'm not going to sing it for y'all. Okay, so Medium 7-Up, you're an idiot. No, but you just noticed the Lono music. Fantastic. And that says to me that the Lono music isn't too overpowering. Like I mentioned earlier, you may not have been around. You may have caught the tail end of it because I talked about it a lot. I'm flying deaf right now. I'm just going by, I'm going by things in my desktop audio. What happened to the Lono music? Okay, I don't know. All right, well, looked like the music stopped for a minute, but then I restarted it. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't know that the music stopped had the desktop audio not stopped doing things. So yeah, I don't even know what you guys can hear. I set up the audio levels based on a private pre-stream that I did, and I just hope that everything carried through. So yeah, there it is. So, okay, and Shock, you were saying to Cindy, your connection started at 360, but you were able to choose 1080. Okay, fantastic. So, Kenny Casey checking me out in 55, I'm assuming, inches of 1080 gloriousness. Looking good. Fantastic. Yeah, and then, so, I have no doubt in my mind that what is behind me is driving you guys nuts because it's an upside down picture. It's an upside down picture. What are you doing? Well, what I'm doing is I'm covering up the brightest, whitest spot, which is this surfboard right above my head, and then the patch of big whitish blue sky that's like behind my seat right now, because those were like reflecting and blowing out and just screwing up the lighting for me, whereas these darker hues are not. So that's why this is like this right now. However, I have a green screen coming to me in the next couple of weeks. I have no idea. I have no idea how to even, I mean, I know what a green screen is, and in theory, I know. Well, I mean, actually, I have no idea how to apply a green screen. I know that you have something green behind you, and then that will magically look like it's a brick wall if you tell the computer to make the green screen look like a brick wall or something. I mean, but how do you tell the computer to make it look like a brick wall? I don't know. Where do you get the picture of the brick wall for the computer to make it look like? I don't know. I don't know a lot of things, but we'll be finding all these things out, and pretty soon, if nothing else, I'll just have a green background. So the upside downs won't be here for long, but we're gonna put up with them until later. Yeah. So okay, cool. Gil, all right. Musicians' ears tell me that the music sounds great and it's not too loud. Andre, I got it at 1080, but it looks the same at 720 and a bit jerky, but that might be your computer, or it could be my computer. Apparently there's these things called like video capture cards or like video cards or something. I don't know. I have this computer and I bought it a few months ago with, and I was very proud of myself. I did a lot of research about it. But I bought it with office work in mind. Like streaming wasn't even gaming, streaming, none of that was even on the table. It was all about office work, basically. And so the computer that I got was for office work, and it's good for office work. So Like, does it have an adequate video card? I don't know. What's an adequate video card, and how would I find out if it's adequate or not? There's so many things. I have no doubt in my mind that this computer will eventually one day just be like, you're asking too much of me. I don't know. And in fact, I'm kind of wondering if the Bluetooth situation is like that, but I don't really know what to do other than update the Bluetooth drivers, and I've already done that like 47,553 times. I think they're updated. So, oh good, Andre, you don't mind the upside down surfboards? Fantastic. And you only know how to make fake backgrounds on Zoom? Well, I'll tell you what, you know more than me, although I think in Zoom, don't they like have that as an option maybe? I don't know, but you know one more thing than I do. Well, Carl, no, it doesn't have to be a brick wall. No, it doesn't have to be a brick wall, but you know what I'm saying. In fact, actually, I could maybe even take a picture of this canvas and then just color correct the stupid part that I hate, because that just screws everything up. It's a neat canvas, but having it as a background has taught me a lot, or no, it hasn't taught me anything except for, wow, I have a lot to learn about how cameras focus and the lighting and etc. Speaking of which, actually, I should probably ask, so the lighting, I literally have no lights on in my house. I have more things over my windows. I have no light here, no light there. All my lights are turned off. Am I too dark? Because it looks like it's okay to me, but I don't know what you guys see. Yeah. Let's see here. So, okay, Shock, good, it's fine. You're looking at me, not the background. Good. Okay, Andre, this sounds bad, but I did not think they still made Dell computers. That's funny. Yeah, what, after the, dude, you're getting a Dell guy got arrested, you thought that they stopped? No, Dell still makes plenty computers, and, yeah, apparently, though, not computers with adequate Bluetooth. Yeah, medium 7-Up. When it comes to this journey that we're all on together, with me leading the path into a technological jungle that I don't know anything about, I'm gonna have to keep it on the bright side, because otherwise, if I don't keep things on the bright side, they'd be thrown out the window. These earbuds, which are completely wonderful, frustrated me so much that I did consider throwing them out the window. So yeah, if nothing else, I'll have a green background. That's exactly right. I mean, shoot, every once in a while, Luke has a green background, and if Photo Luke can do it, so can I. Right? So a slow frame rate and make things jokey, but I am not seeing any. Okay, so I don't know quite what you, wait, who said that? Was that Carl who said that? Okay, so I don't know quite what you mean by that, but I do know that in my settings, I can choose the frames per second and see, okay, this right now, this is what is holding us all together by dental floss and safety pins and toothpicks. This is how I know. So I saw a YouTube video that told me I should choose 60 frames per second. So I chose that. So, yeah. I don't know what I was choosing or why it matters. I guess what? The jerkiness? Okay, perfect. So yeah, Carl, I'm at a frame rate of 60 frames per second because a YouTube video told me to do that. Yes, so there we go. All right, Gil, thank you so much. I will try and keep up this work. I don't know if it's good. Come join us when you're done with dinner, or come join us next Sunday. If nothing else, I'll probably see you tomorrow. So thank you so much for swinging by. A little grass shack would be a nice mad statter as a background. You know, Andre, I agree. It would be a cute background, and I might want to look into getting one of those. However, even though the surfboards imply it, this picture was taken on Maui, by the way, not by me. You know, this content that we're creating here isn't really very Hawaii-centric. We do have, obviously, a huge Hawaii connection with the Daily Pigeon Live. And for those of you who may be here who don't know about the Daily Pigeon Live, we keep talking about it. It's a show by Andy Bumatai, every morning on Twitch at 6 a.m. Hawaii time, 9 a.m. West Coast time, and noon p.m. on the East Coast. Actually, you can see it worldwide, but I'm not going to do the math for you, so if you're not in those places, figure it out yourself. We have folks on that show who come from all over the world. South Africa, over on the Cook Islands, a couple people from Japan, some folks from Thailand, and Canadian folks and stuff like that, and then all over the US. So come join us, because we make too many references about that show on this show, because basically it's an extension of that show for the most part. So yeah, come join the cult of the Daily Pigeon Live with Andy Bumatai. And then, since you're already here at Chatter with Statter, I'll lead the way. But either way, the point of that little advertisement for Daily Pigeon Live there, Andre, was, I don't know if, I like the idea of a grass shack, but I just don't know if it's really, is that my brand? I don't really know what my brand is. What are we doing here? You know? Besides just floating along in the breeze. So, yeah, Medium 7-Up, I cannot thank you enough for swinging by. I do not expect to see you for the next month. If you show face at any time during Chatter with Statter, so much aloha to you, my friend. You are in Hawaii. You have no reason to be wasting time on the cell phone unless you're taking pictures to make all of us jealous. So go get your feetsies wet, and we'll be here when you come back. Oh, hey, let's see here. Music is Life. Good to see you. Oh, looks like you and Medium 7-Up are figuring out his Molokai leg of the trip. Fantastic. I cannot wait for all those videos to happen. So, Matt Setter, that is completely traditional, except you might maybe need some duct tape too. Honestly, a backdrop full of duct tape would probably be the most... Yeah, a backdrop full of duct tape would probably be the most appropriate backdrop possible. I have actually a really cool roller derby piece of art, but it's not big enough. I did consider using it, but when I put it up, it was just the wrong size, basically. So, okay, let's see here. So it looks like, hold on, wait. It looks like, all right, so Lono and Medium 7-Up are getting coordinated for that. And then Cynthia, there we are. Did I tell you guys I saw a huge Dolly's Donut sign the other day? Your thought was you were nuts, but you busted out laughing. You know, that's so funny, Cynthia Krause, because yesterday on my way to work, I saw a convertible VW Bug with a dolly in the passenger seat. And all I could think of was, oh, poor Dolly. She needed her own Uber ride today. So I don't know what happened to Dolly, but she needed her own Uber ride. I cracked myself up. And I'm sure like anybody who saw me would just be like, why is a VW Bug so funny to you? And it's like, oh, it's too long to explain, but Dolly's not feeling well today, clearly. Let's see here. Wait, what? Medium 7-Up, if you don't mind riding a bucking Bronco Mustang, keep you updated. I don't know what you're threatening him with there, Mr. Man. You've got a Mustang, but if you know how to drive it right, Music is Life, it shouldn't be bucking at all. You don't take your Mustang off road, do you, Lono? Like, that's not, you don't do that. It's not the same, 4-wheel drive thing that you used to have. It's not, it's not a truck. Silly boy. Let's see here. Andre, okay, we need a dishwasher as a background then. Well, if I didn't have my backdrop up, you would see my dishwasher. Oh, speaking of which, thanks for the reminder there, Andre. Speaking of which, I put in the order for the dishwasher unicoupler, for the dishwasher unicoupler, and it will be here on, I believe, Friday, August 13th. And when I saw that, I said, oh, I hope that doesn't bode that doesn't bode well for the future of the project. So, sometime after that bad luck day, I will be tackling the project. And at that point, I should be able to show you guys, if nothing else, pictures. Oh, you know what? Well, anyway, if nothing else, pictures. Because like I said earlier today, I'm on the verge of maybe knowing how to show you pictures in my stream. Maybe. So let's see. Yeah, so medium 7-Up. It does sound like Lona's going to take you on an adventure, which doesn't surprise me because Molokai is full of wild places. And who knows, you might end up, oh, whoa, there's a whole tour of horses going by, says medium 7-Up. Yeah, who knows, you might end up on a bucking bronco on Molokai, so there you go. Yeah, I guess you are still here. Saying goodbye did not work, but that's all on you, my friend. That's all on you. But I'm so glad you're still here. So black velvet pipe and drape maybe can pick up cheap from hotels getting demolished. Yes, Shock, that is possible. I'm assuming you're talking about like for the light blocking stuff. Not a whole lot of hotels getting demolished around here. In fact, hotels are getting built more than anything. But I did notice at the hardware store, they had an incredible selection of blackout drapes, which I will be the first to tell you, if I was in the market for blackout drapes, I would not just be like, let's go to Ace. That's not where my brain would go. But as it turns out, Ace has a really good selection of blackout drapes. And I did consider, I looked into how much they were, and I am considering getting some for my front window. Because this right here, all this whiteness, it's just my front window shining in my face. That's what it is. So, yeah, mules were the thing on Molokai. Well, right, yeah, I said donkey, I think, instead. Yeah, it is mules. It is mules on Molokai. And, did you know, let's see, I think, is it, yeah, mules are the thing, right? Well, never mind, I can't remember. I think there's like, when it comes to donkeys, because donkeys are a crossbreed between a horse and a mule, right? But like, a donkey is when the mom was a horse and the dad was a mule. But a jenny is the opposite. It's when the dad was a horse and the mom was a mule. They have different names for like who was the parents, which I thought was neat. But what I just said, Jenny is one of them, I think. But I can't remember whose mom and dad had to be whose to be what. Yeah, that cleared that up. So now you don't know. Yep. Now you don't know. You're in the market for blackout drapes, but your Ace hasn't got any of that stuff. Oh, okay. Well, you know, maybe, I don't know, man. Okay, so your Ace doesn't have it? Shoot, dude, check your Home Depot, check your Lowe's, check your whatever. It didn't even occur to me to go to a hardware store of any variety for blackout drapes. But I figure if Ace has them, then, you know, a bigger shop, I can only assume you might have a Home Depot, Home Depot or Lowe's, somewhere within throwing distance of your place. Maybe check that out. Yeah, I mean, hardware store, who'd have thunk it? Not me. I would have gone to Bed Bath & Beyond and paid way too much is what I would have done. Okay, Andre, all right, donkeys are their own animal and a mule is a donkey and a horse. Okay, all right, so the mule, but the mule though has to, in order for it to be a mule instead of a jenny, its mom has to be one and its dad has to be the other. And then a jenny is when the mom and dad switched. I see. Thank you. I couldn't remember, Andre, if it was the mule that was the purebred or if it was the donkey that was the purebred. I mean, I guess it's a burro, not a donkey, but whatever. Okay, I'll see you later, Lono. Thanks for showing face. I will talk to you later, maybe, and I'll see you on Sunday, hopefully. Just like I hope I see everybody on Sunday. Yeah, okay, so the mule is the offspring of the donkey and the horse for sure, but I believe the horse has to be the mom and the donkey has to be the dad, whereas a jenny is the donkey was the mom and the mule was the dad. No, the horse was the mom and the mule was the dad. Something like that. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about this anymore because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. But if you Google it, you'll see I kind of know what I'm talking about, just a little bit. Just enough to be dangerous. Yeah. So, Carl in Arkansas. Well, are you not a horsey person there in Arkansas? Arkansas is kind of a horsey place, isn't it? Isn't it? No, it's not. Okay. That's so weird. I always thought of it as kind of I mean, it's so close to Texas. How is it not a horsey place, right? I know that doesn't make any sense. Okay, yeah, are we now going to have to discuss the lion and tiger hybrid? Well, it's the same thing. A liger is different than the other one. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, they've got different names for which one was the mom and which one was the dad. Okay, here we go. It's a Hinny, not a Jenny. See, I knew a little bit, but not everything. Yeah, it's a Hinny. There we go. So the donkey dad equals mules. Hinny comes from donkey mom. So Shock swoops in with the real deal. Oh, well, Carl, I didn't expect you to have horses. That's a rich man's game. No, I just expected you to, maybe be a little bit familiar. I mean, I don't own any horses, but I seem to think I know about donkeys and mules and stuff. When I don't, but whatever. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb, Andre, and say that Shock maybe Googled that. That's just my thought. Then you throw in zebras. Where did they come from? I don't know, but from what I understand, the reason why zebras have stripes is to keep keep flies off of them. I guess the way flies' eyes are, they don't like, it's hard for them to land. It's not that the zebras are invisible, it's just that it's hard for them to gauge their landing or something, so they just don't land on the zebras. And that's why sometimes you will see horse blankets and things that are zebra striped, because it helps keep the horses from being all flighty. Because flighty is a word that exists sometimes. Carl, if your 7-year-old had anything to say about it, we would have horses. Absolutely. Every 7-year-old, I think, is genetically obligated to have a desire for horses, especially if it's a girl. Little 7-year-old boys for sure can be into horses, but if every single little girl seems to go through a horse phase right around that 7-year-old mark. So actually not even right around that. It's from like 5 to 12. It's kind of a horse age. Yeah, I've heard about the zebra stripes confusion camouflaging in herds, and I was watching a little documentary about that, and that has been the hypothesis, but science is actually finding out that might be also true, but another factor is the fly thing. Like it maybe that's not why they evolved, but it just happens to their stripes have that effect on the insects, the flies, not any other insect. But, flies, the buzzy, the flies. Oh, Shock. Okay, so the useless thing, just like I did with the mules and the things, but you needed to check Google just to be sure. Yeah, well, clearly, because I didn't have the right term. I was calling them a Jenny for some reason instead of a Hinny. Horses are scary to you, Andre? A lot of people, it's a big animal, and I think that if I had a lick of sense, I'd be afraid of them too. But as a child, I was exposed to them, like really young. I think, I don't know this for sure, but as I got older into my adulthood, there was this one set of friends that my family had when we lived on the North Shore in Hawaii. And their house burned down. We all lived on the beach. They lived up the beach from us, and their house burned down. I mean, burned down, like exploded, because they made a lot of, they were hippies, and they made a lot of homemade bread and stuff. And so their pantry was filled with literally barrels of flour. And so I think I don't need to explain to you how dangerous that can be in the middle of a fire. It causes explosions, and that's exactly what happened. Their kitchen, once the fire got to their kitchen, the pantry exploded. The house was toast. So they had a bunch of insurance money. I guess. I don't really know. Anyway, so that family moved into the mountains of Oahu, and they had a horse ranch, etc. Now, later on down the road, I heard that like one of their kids got killed in a drug deal, a bunch of weed, blah, blah, blah. And when I heard that, suddenly, boom, a lot of things fell into place. And I realized, I think that family moved up to the woods to grow some marijuanas in the 70s. That's just what I'm thinking. But anyway, that was a sidetrack. I was very young. I do not know what they were doing up there in the mountains, but I do know that from the age of like 2 until 5, I spent a lot of time with their horses. And so when you're that young and you aren't, it just, you stop being scared of them. If I had a lick of sense, I would be scared of them because they can hurt you big time. But like I said, I don't have a lick of sense. Hey, Charles. Aloha. Good to see you. Thank you so much for swinging by. We are sitting here talking about my tech woes and how horses are scary. So, we're talking about a bunch of other things too. Like, hey, Carl or Charles, do you know about the zebras and why they have stripes? Is it a camouflage thing? Is it to keep the flies off? We're not really sure. One of us thinks one thing. One of us thinks another thing. I kind of maybe think both things. I don't really know. Horses are used as riot control and for police use when you're in the city. That is true. And in fact, the Seattle uses horses a lot. And their horse barn is not but maybe 2 miles from my house. And and they don't let you like go up to the horses. But their horse barn property borders on a really big park, and I always do like to go like look over the fence at the horsies. Even though they're police horsies, I still like the horsies. But yeah, in the city, when you're up against a horse, without a doubt, it's totally frightening. But on the bright side, the city police in Seattle don't use the horses for riot control because they use so much chemical warfare and chemicals to control the riots, because there's literally been a protest in Seattle every single day for over a year at this point. As I'm sure you know, there was last summer during this time of year, there was a portion of the city that the police had abandoned and completely left under citizen control. And there was never any horses in that area. It was all chemicals. And there's no way that they would never subject their horses, their animals, to the chemicals that they were subjecting the rioters to. Which, by the way, they weren't rioters, but the protesters in the street, they would never subject their own animals to the weapons that they were doing against the citizens, which is sort of ironic. But in Seattle, and in Portland both, where they were using a lot of chemical warfare against their citizens, they weren't using horses at all. In fact, it was interesting that the horses were distinctly not present, because oftentimes officers do say, well, the point of having the horses in their arsenal is for crowd control, etc. But it's interesting because that's really not, when they have an opportunity to use that, they didn't at all. Okay, hold on, wait, Andre. So when they camouflaged the Navy ships with with Camusian camo in the World War II, they kept the flies away. No, I'm not saying that, Andre. I'm not saying that at all. But I don't know. Maybe it did keep the flies away. I guess we'd have to ask those soldiers. Were they getting bit by flies? Yeah, Andy, flower power. That's funny. Totally. Yeah, and actually, my Uncle Gordon, he was the main firefighter on point with the with the crew, and he, by the grace of God, didn't get killed in it because he was there in the kitchen trying to put the fire out, but the hose wasn't, there was no water coming from his hose, and he was shouting and shouting. He got so angry, he left and came out to see what was wrong with his crew and why they weren't giving him doing whatever they need to do to fill the hose. Well, whatever, there was a malfunction, and there was no water pressure going to that hose. No one could figure out how to fix it. As soon as Uncle Gordon left the building, boom, blew. So everybody was thankful that Uncle Gordon didn't perish, because he was very important to the community. For sure. So let's see. When you were in the 80s, okay, so Andre, when you were in the 80s in Hawaii, in the early 80s, you stayed in this campground and they let a horse just walk around. Oh, I think I heard you talking about that on the Daily Pigeon, and the horse would just walk around and come into the bathroom to drink water, and then you would get stuck in there. That's funny. Oh, that's really funny. Okay, so I can maybe see why you're a little bit afraid of horses, given those circumstances. That's hysterical. Well, okay, so Shock-a-Lock, livestock are historically cared for better than citizens. This is not new. Precisely, it's not new. And Andre, Shock-a-Lock, except for the buffalo. Well, now, Andre, I would argue that buffalo are wild animals and not livestock. Now, I understand. I see your point, and I'm not arguing your point. But technically speaking, I don't think buffalo are considered livestock. They're not domesticated. So there you go. Michi Mama, you forgot. Hey, good to see you. It's okay. It's okay. Today was a day for everything to go wrong for everyone. And so the fact that you forgot kind of makes me feel better, because it's the way it was supposed to be today. And I'm so glad that you're here to come join us right now, that you finally got here. Because when I got streaming today, that's kind of how I felt. I'm finally here, clawing my way to what I was supposed to do today, because everything seemed to just get in my way. I mean, I honestly thought for a little bit I was going to have to cancel because the heartburn was so bad. I was almost throwing up. It was just so unpleasant. And then the tech nightmares, and everything I was trying to do to fix the clock just kept ticking and ticking, and it was getting closer to 4:30 and I hadn't done anything. So, yeah. Michi Mama, I'm so glad that you're here. I feel ya. Carl in Arkansas, what mic am I using? I am using the Elgato 3 Wave, or the Elgato Wave 3. I'm not quite sure what order those words are, but it's the Elgato 3. And I love it, even though I still am not using it to its fullest extent, because as we've already covered, I don't have any earphones in for reasons I explained earlier. Oh, well, Bison burgers are, first, all right, now we're getting semantic. Bison burgers, chances are actually a cow, buffalo, or not buffalo, I suppose, because buffalo isn't even on this continent. Bison burgers, chances are actually a crossbreed between cows and bison. Most of the bison in the United States today, even the ones that are wildly populated, have come from the domesticated cow. Very, very few are pure, true blood bisons. I do believe there's only one national park in the United States that has a herd of pure-bred bisons. I want to say it's Custer Park. It's a park somewhere in the Dakotas. And the reason why I know this is because I stayed a couple weeks, that is not true. I stayed a couple days in the area of Wind Cave National Park, Custer National Park, and I don't know, I want to say Buffalo Gap National Park. But anyway, this area of the country, it's 3 national parks that kind of border up onto one another. And there's this town in the middle of it called Pringle. And basically there's like 2 things in Pringle. There's a restaurant/grocery store, and there's the real restaurant that everybody goes to. And so when you go to the real restaurant that everybody goes to, that is where all of the, not only the locals, but the workers for the national parks go there. And there's 3 different national parks that kind of butt into this. So you get a bunch of different park workers. And the year that I was there, they were in the middle of rounding up all of the bison for the various parks to do genetic testing to reallocate which bison needed to be in which park, because people would cut the gates, the fences between the two parks, because they'd see like a buffalo calf on one side of the fence and a grown-up buffalo on the other, bison, excuse me, they're not buffalo, they're bison, a grown-up bison on the other side of the fence. Well, these are two different clans of buffalo, two different parks. That baby belongs to a different mama, not that one. But the people would think that it was a mom lost her calf, and so they'd cut the fences and this, that, and the other thing. And because one of the parks has that purebred bison, they wanted to keep each of the bisons separate, so they had to round them all up and do genetic testing and then reshuffle them back to where they needed to go. And I happen to know this because I'm a chatty Cathy, and when I go to the bar, I talk to random people, and there was a bunch of people involved with this project, so I got to learn a whole lot. Anyway, the point is, my friend Andre, we have domesticated bison now, but the ones that are roaming the plains, they're not domesticated and would not be considered livestock. But the ones in your neighbor's barnyard, even if they're bison, they would be considered livestock. So there you go. Mitchie Mama, no, I didn't. Yeah, I felt okay. I take some medicine every morning, and every once in a while it gives me heartburn, and every once in a while it gives me really bad heartburn. Today was one of those days, the kind where your ears hurt when you get heartburn. And so it was just, I couldn't do anything. I had to go lay down for a couple hours. I had plans to do research and learn how to do things to show you stuff, and that didn't happen. So now we're just doing what I know how to do, which is chat. I was about to say doing what I know how to do, which is chat in front of the camera. But since I don't even know how to say chat, I'm not even sure I can do that. All right then. Yeah. Buffalo, Cynthia Krause says, buffaloes are so huge, you stood next to one with barbed wire between us, and it was a humbling experience. Oh, tell me about it, Cynthia. I stupidly listened to one of my friends. Okay, on a cross-country road trip, I'm going through the Badlands. We decide it's getting kind of late, might as well just camp in the Badlands. So we do. We camp in the Badlands. We find the campground, and the camp area there's two parts of the campground. There's like the horse area, and then there's the campground area. Well, the campground area was full. So we just went to the horse area because nobody was there. And we set up our camp where people who normally have horses would set up their camp. And so then we decided, because we're smart, except for we're not, to sleep out under the stars, because doesn't that sound wonderful? It was wonderful. Until the next morning when I woke up and there was a steaming pile of, steaming, literally fresh pile of bison dung, not but 3 feet from my head. And that made me realize, oh, there was a bison like 3 feet from my head. And I'm not so sure sleeping out under the stars was such a good idea. That's for sure. Oh yeah, maybe Mitchie Mama does know why zebras have stripes. Zebras having stripes seems to be the controversial topic of today. So if we can get votes on that, there we go. Yeah, I know, Cynthia, don't they smell rank? Yeah, I actually saw one close to me too, earlier in the day, or the next day, or on that trip. I saw plenty bison close enough to be able to, catch some whiff. And yeah, they're stinky. Andre, 3 things in Pringle, don't forget the chips. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure they had Pringles chips in that grocery store. But when I went to the grocery store, there was 2 people in the grocery store, the person who worked there and their friend, and they were in the middle of a very intense card game, and they looked at me like, do you really need something right now? And it was like, no, I do not. And so I left. Oh, that's funny. So Yeah, okay, no, and then the bison sneezed on you, Kenny. I had that happen. It wasn't a sneeze so much as a slobbery lick. We have a game park on the Olympic Peninsula, and when I was a kid, we were driving through it, and you get to feed the animals loaves of bread or slices of bread from your window. And shoot, man, that bison was so used to getting bread and loved. He's just stuck his whole head right in the open car window and just snotted. I mean, he didn't sneeze, but just rubbing his nose, the whole. I think I even have a picture of it somewhere. It's the funniest thing. I mean, it was gross and it was stinky. It was stinky. Yep. Oh, Mitchie Mama, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm feeling better too. That heartburn is just the worst. Yeah, it's just awful. Yeah, it was exactly, Andre. It was Hana Butter time with a buffalo, Kenny. Yep. Well, now, Andre, have you ever been to the Badlands? It's a really cool place to not sleep out under the stars. Oh, shock. That's hysterical. Shock reveals that her fiddle teacher woke up in a pasture being peed on by a cow one time. Alcohol was involved. Yeah, see, your fiddle teacher at least has the excuse that alcohol was involved. I do not have that excuse. In fact, I don't even think I was stoned. I mean, like, seriously, not that that would have been an excuse, but seriously, like, I'm pretty sure the decision to stay there was, we were stone cold sober. We were, yep, this is a great place to camp. Let's sleep out under the stars. Nope, no alcohol involved at all. That was just our pure brain thinking. Nothing but pure brain. Yeah. Oh, well now Mitchie Mama has an interesting question. So Charles K, she says, I don't know why about the zebra stripes, but did you know that there's a zebra on the Big Island? And Andre responds quite appropriately, man, zebras get around. So no, Mitchie Mama, I didn't know that there was a zebra on the Big Island. Do you care to tell us a little bit more about that? Like, I'm assuming you mean not in a zoo. I'm assuming you mean maybe wild roaming? I know that Photo Luke once mentioned there was wallabies on one of the islands. Maybe it was the Big Island. So was it part of that same zoo enclosure that got ruined in a hurricane and then the animals just went running? Oh, Andre, petting zoos as a kid, those goats would mug you for the food right out of the little machine that sells the food for the animal. Yes, totally. Goats are pretty rough. I don't really know. I mean, they're fun to watch on videos, all bouncing around, and Tina Rose Cager makes them look like they're just darling little things, but in real life, they're kind of like geese. Like you really don't, they're not very nice. C Honda asked Jack, who had the alcohol, the fiddler or the cow? Oh, that's funny. Andre, I remember as a kid one summer, all the adults thought it was great to pick mushrooms from cow dung. I could not for the life of me at the time figure out why. Isn't that funny? Those things that you see as a child, that you just don't connect the dots. And then suddenly as an adult, you're like, oh, sort of like with my parents' friends, neighbors who went and got rich up in the mountains. Oh, I think I maybe, Yep. Yeah, okay, the wallabies might be on Oahu. I couldn't remember which island it was that Photo Luke said the wallabies were on. Yeah, I saw the pictures of the Cynthia Hurst and his zoo is why there are zebras and Tool elk in your area. Actually, aren't the Tool elk? I thought that those elk were sort of from that area. I do want to say, though, that those Tool elk are some of the smallest population of elk in the United States. That and the Roosevelt elk are not the most populous. they're restricted to the smallest range, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because we've got on the Olympic Peninsula, we've got the Roosevelt elk, and for some reason I got fascinated by elk a while back and did some research on elk, which is why I know about the Tool elk as well. Okay, so your friend posted this picture of the zebra, but you don't know if it's owned by somebody or if it's just roaming around. Still, though, that's just so weird to see a zebra outside of like, in a zoo, obviously, it's normal to see a zebra, I guess. But, I mean, in a pasture somewhere, I would have taken a picture, too. Oh, nice. You were watching the news on about the fires on the Big Island, and they thanked the wild goats for eating lots of the brush that helped make a fire break. I didn't know that there was wild goats on the Big Island, but yeah, goats are good for one thing, and that is eating scrub. So yeah, good job, goats. Way to go. No, wait, way to goat. Yeah, I did just say that. Okay, Michi Mama, you, okay, it's in a sanctuary, an exotic animal sanctuary. Gotcha. Yeah, the Big Island has wild everything, no doubt. I was so surprised, though, on the Big Island when I went there, how many people, feed the mongoose. Like, I don't know, do they think that the mongoose can't find their own food? I don't, people leave like bowls of cat food out, not for cats, but for the mongoose. I just couldn't, I always, when I lived on Hawaii, granted I was little, but still the mongoose were considered pests. You don't feed the pests. You don't leave out dishes of cat food for the rats. You don't leave out dishes of cat food for the mongoose. But apparently on the Big Island, you do. I don't get that. It's okay, Michi Mama. Yeah, no way. It's got to be the Howleys feeding the mongoose. That's what I thought. But then I saw this one lady putting out the paper plates of food. And I'll tell you, man, I don't know what she was, but her skin was not the skin color of my color. She definitely looked like she could have been local. I mean, she might not have been local in the sense of from there. She could have been maybe from the Philippine Islands or whatever, first generation in. But so in the sense she wasn't a local, I don't know. But I don't, she sure looked like she could have been a local. I was stunned. Every time I saw, my friends who live in Kona warned me like, oh, hey, when you see this, that means there's a lot of mongoose around. And I just was like, you've got to be kidding me, right? But then I kept seeing these little paper plates, like everywhere in the city, on the wharf, in the beach, and blah, 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 every place. It wasn't like just this one person. I mean, it clearly was like a thing. And, right, no, okay, so Andre, yeah, you never saw anybody feed a mongoose on the Big Island, but they feed the feral cats. No, apparently these dishes of cat food were meant for the mongoose. Cause that's what I asked. I was like, are you sure they're not feeding feral cats? And they're like, no, it's for the mongoose. The mongoose don't let the cats eat and blah, blah, blah. And it's for them, I don't know. It just was the strangest thing to me. Because to me, it's like, I thought that mongoose didn't have any problem finding food. Michi Mama, you hate geckos, but you clients used to feed them. You just shrug your shoulders. Yeah, well, geckos are, I don't know. Geckos aren't nearly as vicious as mongoose. You would think that's right. I think the food on the paper plates was probably for the cats. That's what I hoped and thought too, but according to my friends, that's not what it ends up being. It ends up being for the mongoose. Yeah, so I, however, will give them the benefit of the doubt that everybody who does that thinks that they're feeding cats. That's what I hope they think they're doing. Yes, indeedy. So, all right, so Cynthia wants to know, hey, Michi Mama, what do you do to feed a gecko? Leave a light to draw bugs and you get every gecko for miles? Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, actually, that's kind of a good question because I kind of figured geckos, like to just eat the bugs that are already there. And in Hawaii, even if you've got screens, the bugs are going to get in. So, hey, Terry Gilmore, good to see you. So glad you could sneak in at the very last minute. Glad to see you here. We're talking about some incredibly important topics like why do zebras have stripes? And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, is bison considered livestock? And then let's see here. Why would you feed a mongoose? Are they feeding the mongoose? Or are they really feeding feral cats? These are the important topics that we're currently covering on Statter with Chatter. Oh, okay. So, all right. So Mitchie Mama and Andre both confirm geckos have a sweet tooth. So they feed them everything from jam to whatever they have. No, geckos eat the roaches, but they like sweet stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't feed the geckos sweet stuff. Just, you're here for the roaches. You're here for everything else. You're not here for the jam. Actually, though, Andre, geckos do eat more than roaches. They also eat cane spiders. I know this because I saw a battle. Unfortunately, the gecko chose a cane spider that it wanted to eat that was big enough to have eaten the gecko. And when the spider was like, wait, why am I running from this gecko? I could just eat it instead. And it did. I was like, wow, that's really loud and I can hear it from across the room, and I didn't know I was going to watch a wildlife episode of nature programs in this house that I'm in. But yeah, they eat cane spiders too. And reverse, cane spiders eat geckos too. It just depends on which one is in the bigger mood. Neat. Oh yeah, another gecko factoid that I don't know if you guys know this. Is that they're all named Carl. So when you see a gecko, you'll totally know how to greet it. It's Carl. Hi, Carl. And they're all named Carl, so it's really easy to remember. It's Carl. There's Carl. It's Carl right there. You have a video of a gecko holding a moth. You helped the moth escape. Oh, that's cute. That's actually kind of cool. Not only that you helped the moth escape, but just the video, even if the video sounds like that, it's kind of cool. Yeah, Terry, I guess it's all about animals today. There we go. It's all about animals. Hey, Photo Luke, good to see you. So glad you could swing by. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, now you know. Because like I said, it's not a well-known fact. But I'd like to get the word out that geckos are all named Carl. So when you see, well, actually that's not true. Not all the geckos. The geckos, the bright green ones with the orange, those are the ones named Carl. The other ones, they haven't introduced themselves to me yet, so I don't know. But those green ones with the little orange stripes, they're named Carl. Yep. Photo Luke has a video where you see and hear the gecko eating fish food. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah, that's what it sounded like when the spider ate the gecko too. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It was gross. Oh, it was gross. Oh my goodness, Terry, we might have revealed his secret. Carl in Arkansas might be a gecko. Oh no, is Carl a gecko? I think he might be. Yep. Let's see. You call the fog that's around here, Carl? Really? That's funny. Carl gets around. Carl's a popular name. Yeah, totally. So, oh my, it is 5:45. We have already chatted for an hour and 15 minutes. I think it might be time to wind things down and say our alohas. So, I want to thank you guys so much for swinging by. As you know, today we have spent the day listening to Lono, and you can get his music at lonomusic.com or check him out on his YouTube page. Photo Luke just showed face, and we know we love our Photo Luke Hawaii, both YouTube streamer and Twitch streamer. And Photo Luke, as we probably all know, streams on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays and on YouTube on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I believe the Tuesday and Thursday is from 8 until 9, or no. Oh gosh, you know what? I'm not going to tell you when Photo Luke streams. You're going to just have to go to his webpage, find out on Twitch. He's got a schedule. He's all good about his schedule, and he follows it and everything. And so, And then, of course, Andy Boomatai with the Daily Pigeon Live. We love him so much, too, so we're giving him a shout-out. Thank both of them for swinging by, or actually thank all three of them for swinging by today. And let's see what Mitchie Mama has to say. You have a client with white marble all throughout the house. When he's out of town, I go in and find roach legs, wings, and other body parts. Yeah, I'm not surprised that the white marble would show off all of those random little bits that aren't supposed to be there. Oh, that's so cute, Cynthia Kraus. You have a weird lizard that you have there that looks just like a snake until you see these little feet on its side. I've never heard of such a thing. It almost sounds cute, even though I'm not a fan of lizards. That actually almost sounds, so let's see here. Kenny Casey, so the female geckos with the orange stripe, are they all named Carla? No, Kenny, they're all named Carl. Like, it's a unisex name. They're all named Carl. I mean, I dare you to call one Carla. See what it does, huh? Yeah, I dare you. Oh, okay. It's Carl with a K. I see the fog in the Bay Area is Carl. Yeah, no, these geckos, just so you know, it's Carl with a C. It's not, or C, I guess, is really what. It's Carl with a C. So yeah, it's Carl. It's not the same Carl, clearly. Oh, C Honda, thank you so much. Photo Luke, Saturday at Twitch. It is 5 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, 6:15 on YouTube. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't remember, so we'll figure that out later. So, all right, so Photo Luke telling C Honda that he's working on stuff on the computer. Gosh, Photo Luke, I don't know if you heard my rant earlier about what I was doing on my computer, but let's just leave it at we're lucky the computer is still in one piece and hasn't been hucked out the window. And let's see here. Austin finished his first day of school. Wow, that's really early. Oh, and you got a call from a blood bank. You're a match for someone who needs a procedure and needs your blood. Wow, Photo Luke, I didn't know that that blood banks did that. You must have some sort of special kind blood if they are gonna seek you out. So yeah, definitely. I'm glad that you're gonna go donate soon for sure. Oh, Carl the Fog got a blog. Oh, awesome. Okay, Carl knows what's up then. I guess Carl does see everything in the Bay Area, right? So, yeah, Cynthia Kraus, right. I bet you that lizard would make you jump just like it was a real snake. And I'll bet you they're fast. Yep. Yeah, no, Photo Luke, that's just crazy. I mean, do you have like, what that special AB blood or whatever? I mean, I guess this isn't really a conversation that is appropriate for public and it's none of my business, but I'm an O negative. And so I'm, I guess, a universal donor. So anybody could have mine and be fine. But I'm thinking that if they're going to make a phone call to like, hey, we want your stuff, it wouldn't be, the generic stuff. They're looking for the good. They're looking for the good stuff. It sounds like you got the good stuff from Photo Luke. Let's see here. Shockalock, your grandfather was named Carl Charles. Did his parents hate him? Yes, they must have. But actually, I think I've got a client who's got a similar name, and I can't remember for the life of me what it is, but I know that my boss and I have made fun of his name and what were his parents thinking by naming him that. So there you go. Oh, okay, you're O positive, but you think this person needs a specific okay, awesome, yeah. Okay, O positive, yeah. O positive is definitely an important one to have, or also a form of universal donor. But yeah, wow, weird. All right, then. Yeah, so, all right, now that I guess maybe we'll end on that bloody note, right? Now that we're talking about blood, maybe it's time to go now that we're talking about blood. All bloods are important to have, especially inside your body. Yes, that is very true, Shockalock, without a doubt. Yep. So, okay. So I want to thank you guys for heading out into the stratosphere with me. That's the word I was looking for. And I want to thank you for joining all of us here at Satter with Chatter. I will be, yes, the show is going to be over already, Terry. You came in so late, and you know what? You probably came in at the best time because first part of the show, I was in no mood for nothing. I had a rant about some wonderful earbuds. The earbuds are delicious. No, they're not delicious. The earbuds sound wonderful when they work, but they don't work with my computer. And that made me irate. And you missed that entire part. So see, you're good to go. You came in at a good time. All right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow morning, maybe on the Daily Pigeon Live. And I hope to see all of you Sunday at 4:30 p.m. West Coast time, 1:30 p.m. Hawaii time, and 7:30 p.m. East Coast time. Until then, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all later.